Yo guys, Crescent here. Welcome to another build video. Today I'll be showing you a heavy attack build, a Magicka Sorcerer heavy attack build. It's not really a meta build, it's not really a 1vx build. However, this build is really good against those occurring tanks and those high shielded target, especially against Magicka Sox and just DKs that likes to block a lot, Templars that likes to block a lot. This build is really good against those tanky builds, basically shielded target and tanky builds. However, where this build is a bit lacking is against Nightblades, because they can cloak a lot and you need to charge up your heavy attack because this is a heavy attack build, so they can just cloak while you're heavy attacking. So that's the downside of this build, I would say. And yeah, but overall this is just a fun build. Bear in mind, this is not 1vx build, so you need to play with friends if possible. Okay, so I'll hop straight into the sets like usual. So this is a heavy attack build, remember that. So we are running obviously Torok Spec, because with heavy attack build you can proc the enchantment a lot. So you want to use 4-piece Torok Spec on the body. Like I use 1 hit impenetrable, 1 body heavy impenetrable, and then I use feet and legs, and then I use both weapons Torok Spec. Remember that both weapons has to be infused because this is a Torok Spec build, so you have to minimize the cooldown of the weapon enchantment. What I use on the back bar is I use weapon damage and spell damage. So for the cooldown is just 5 seconds, so for every 5 seconds you can proc this, which gives you about 587 weapon damage and spell damage, which get increased by the major prophecy. That's why it's really strong. And then on the front bar, we will be using Lightning Staff. Lightning Staff is the best staff for heavy attacking, in my opinion. And as a Magicka Sorcerer, you get passive that increases your lightning damage. That's why Lightning Staff is pretty good as well. And we will be using Infuse with Oblivion damage. The Oblivion damage you will do is about 2.2k or something, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be really strong, and it will proc about every 3.5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. 3.5 seconds you can proc once the Oblivion damage, 3 or 3.5 seconds, around that area. And the second set we'll be using is Night Slayer. So this is, like I mentioned again, heavy attack build, so you want to put the heavy attack set, and Night Slayer fits this setup the best, in my opinion, because nowadays I'm not sure whether in NA how is it like, but in PC EU there's a lot of tanks, like 40k HP block build, 50k HP, 60k HP, a lot. I don't know what is happening, but tanks are just occurring like every day, man. You can every outnumbered fight you will find 1 or 2 tanks minimum. Like 1v3, 1v4, you will find at least 2 tanks. So I feel like Night Slayer is a really strong set. Like I mentioned just now, there's weakness to this set because it only procs when you do fully heavy attack. So only when the last tick of the damage come in, the heavy attack damage from the Lightning Staff, then Night Slayer will proc the 9% of their max health. This will give you around, for a target that has 25k HP, it gives you more or less 2k damage, which get increased by another 2.4, 2.3k, I'm not so sure. So it's basically 4k plus damage from Oblivion damage. Remember that enemy can't block it, can't shield it, from Torok Spec, Infused, Oblivion damage, and the Night Slayer set. Okay, everything is impenetrable. I will use 3 big pieces Tri-Stack Glyph, and I will use Dormy House shoulder that gives Magicka and stamina. You want it to be impenetrable as well. I don't have it, I didn't bother grinding it, so I just use it, and I use 1 piece Tri-Stat as well, just in case when I need to use it on other classes. So you can use max Magicka stamina as well, it will be fine. And the rings we'll be using obviously Night Slayer as well. I use 1 recovery, 1 cost reduction, and 1 spell damage. And my stats are pretty decent, as you can see. This is totally unbuffed. Obviously you need to include the 600 weapon damage you will get from the restoration stuff of Torok Spec. That is incredibly important as well, 600 damage. And what else? Okay, I'll just show you, because I want to make this video as short as possible. I'll be using the max health, max Magicka and recovery drink. And we'll be using Astronaut. this, wait a minute, if am I not using, yeah, I'll be using Witch Mother because of the tri-stat glyph we'll be using, right? We will gain about 1.5k, actually more than 1.5, 1.8 or something stamina, and you'll gain another 1000 from Domi House. That's why I choose to run Witch Mother. With Astronaut, we don't need any recovery set. We will get like 1.9k unbuffed Magicka recovery, so that is good enough, and we get 1 cost reduction as well. That's why it's really strong. And remember, we are heavy attacking a lot, so we will eventually just gain a lot of Magicka while heavy attacking while fighting. Okay, so obviously you use tri-stat potion. I finished all my tri-stat potion already. You can use poison if you want recovery poison, but I highly recommend you run enchantment because we are running Torok spec plus infuse, so poison is just redundant. Don't use poison. And another thing is, yeah, you could go vampire. I recommend you to go vampire. I'm still not a vampire. I keep forgetting to get it, but vampire would be nice as well. Will increase your stamina recovery or Magicka recovery, and yeah. So I highly recommend you to go vampire. Okay, this is the stats, totally unbuffed at all. And remember that your spell damage will get increased by a lot if you are using the back bar, and infuse gives more than 600 damage, and you can buff it up another 20% as well. So just remember that. And yeah, that's about it. The health is pretty decent because you're using tri-stat glyphs a lot, and Magicka is a bit low. That's the downside. But your spell damage will be a lot higher, about close to 2.8k if totally buffed up. Okay, I'll go through the skills really quickly. The skills are more or less the same. The front bar we'll be using, yeah, so the front bar will be using obviously Endless Fury. This is one of the method you can use to proc your Crystal Frag, because heavy attack doesn't proc Crystal Frag at all, so you need to rely on Endless Fury to proc Crystal Frag. And Curse, obviously you need this. Crushing Shock, this is optional, but I use it depending on situation. I don't think Crushing Shock is necessary, but I'll just leave it here just like that. First I'll tell you the other setup you can use anyways. And the shield front bar, I like to use 1 shield front bar and 2 shield back bar. That's just my style. You can change it around depending on your needs. And Crystal Frag, obviously you need this. This is the bread and butter DPS and stuff. And Soul Assault, I'll go to why I use Soul Assault later. And Power Surge, obviously you need this. You'll be camping mine a lot more. Usually when I play Sorcerer, I like to play a really flexible, a really high mobility Sorcerer. I use Boundless Storm usually, but I think like this build, you requires to heavy attack a lot and you have to be really stationary, so I feel like Daedric Minefield is the best. And you can use Ball of Lightning straight, doesn't matter, and Harness, and Healing Ward, and Restorative. The back bar is more or less the same. You can change Boundless Storm if you want, but more or less the same. The front bar is interesting. Okay, so there are a few methods you can go. You can, obviously I highly recommend you use Soul Assault because I feel like this is the only skill that you can use to kill off Nightblade. Other than this, you're gonna have trouble killing off Nightblade because you're a heavy attack build, so you want to Soul Assault will review enemy for 2 seconds and they can't cloak. So I feel like this is one of the methods to minimize the downside of this build, because against Nightblade this build isn't that great. I tried it already, I'll be honest, but against everything else, this build is pretty decent. So what you can do if you don't want to run Crushing Shock, you could run this, you could go more damage. I highly recommend you use Major Skill Inner Light. So what you drop Force Pulse, and then you have Inner Light to break Nightblade's cloak and everything, so which is one of the counter to Nightblade as well. And what you do is every heavy attack you weave in Endless Fury, you shield up and you put mine, so that is the way you proc your Crystal Frag. And then if enemy Nightblade went to cloak, you can use Inner Light as well. You always time your frag. Okay, you make sure you have a frag at a standby. Okay, when your frag is procced, it's available, you just hold it, you put a curse, you weave in a heavy attack a bit, and then when the curse is almost down, you throw in a heavy attack, you throw in the Crystal Frag, okay, and then you can throw Soul Assault if you have it, or you just go into a heavy attack. You can instantly get the burst from Haunting Curse, Crystal Frag, and you can get the 4K plus damage from the Oblivion 4K plus damage instantly. So that is the power of this build. Against, like, let's say you're fighting against a guy with 50k HP, you will do instantly 6.5k or more Oblivion damage on them. Not instantly, but like after every fully charged heavy attack. So the higher HP the enemy has, the stronger your build is. Even if they are like a sorcerer with 2.5, let's say 25k max health, they will still get like 4k plus Oblivion damage. Unblockable, unshootable damage. That's why it's really powerful. Yeah, some might say this build is kind of like a pug build, so you can just outnumber people and just heavy attack. I'm not gonna deny it. This is a really strong XV1 build, but it could be really fun as well, even in outnumbered situations. And yeah, and the important thing is CP. So there's a lot of not a lot, but a few changes in the CP, because you're a heavy attack build, and you need to remember that when you're heavy attacking with lightning staff, it is a dot. It's a dot damage until the last tick. Then that is a direct damage. So you need to change it up a bit, your CP. Everything else is more or less the same. Sprinter 3, Warlock 44, Siphoner 13 is still the same like my old build. 15 Tenacity, 75 Arcanist, more or less the same. Tumbling 61, 9 Shadow 1. Okay, here is where the blue tree is where everything is different. I use 37 into L4, not a lot, because my crit is just about, I think, 32% or something like that, unbuffed. And 49 into Elemental Expert, 14 into Spell Erosion, nothing special here, very normal. But now, remember, heavy attack build, Staff Expert, 39 into Staff Expert. So you get 22% more damage from heavy and light attacks with your Destroy and Restore stuff. 18 into Shattering Blows, I just like to have some into Shattering Blows. Some people don't like this, but I feel like against a good sorcerer, you need Shattering Blows, because you will never kill them without Shattering Blows. So in my opinion, every class, unless you are a healer or a tank, you need to have Shattering Blows. It's really important. Some people just underestimate this thing, but I feel like 8% damage against shields are really powerful. Okay, so Master at Arm, we reduce this to only 40 points, so we get 16%. And Thermal Church, why? Because our ultimate is a dot, and our heavy attack is a dot. So I feel like you put about 10% into this, like 23 points, it's worth it to put some points into Thermal Church. And for the orange tree, just 56 Ironclad, 5 resistance, more or less the same. 2 light armor, 32 hardies, 27 elemental defender, 23 thick skin, and 3 expert defender, and 71 bastion, like usual. Okay, yeah, I think that's about it for the build. I think I didn't miss out anything. Potions, everything are done. Yeah, just like usual. It's just like a typical sock build. What you do is you just buff up everything. You try to just get your crystal frag up, and then you do heavy attack, and then you weave in with like I mentioned, the what do you call it? Endless Fury, and then try to get your shard up, curse and everything, and then just pick off target. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but very strong build in my opinion. Especially against the meta, this build is really fun to play. I won't be playing this build a lot because I'll be doing a lot of outnumber fight on my sorcerer, so I feel like the spinner and the leech setup will be the way to go. With slime crawl, that is my penetrator build, but this build is kind of like a fun build. So hope you, and it's pretty damn easy to get. Everything is craftable, everything is viable, and Night Slayer is super cheap. You just need to farm 1 piece Stormy House, that's all, and you're good to go. Okay, that's about it for this build. Hope you enjoy it. Just throw me some feedback in the comment. I'll try to reply to them if possible, and make sure you subscribe and give this video a like. That'd be really cool, and I'll see you guys in this video. Okay, bye bye.